Yo, what is the deal, everybody? Welcome to another Raider Nation Unlimited. I'm your man, Wasted Talent. Shout out to the almost 200 of you in the room. Get wasted with your brother, Wasted. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Share this thing out to all social media. And before I get started cooking, man, you guys know what the deal is, man. You guys know the assignment. You guys know the assignment all year. You see it right up at the top. This stream is powered by BetUS. Get 150% bonus on your first deposit and then 125% bonus on your next two deposits up to $2,000 using the code YouTube150. There's none better and none greater than BetUS. And you tell them that Wasted Talent sent you. Damn it, that is a drop. I'll tell you what. But shout out to everybody out there, man. I mean, look, guys, it's crazy that the season is over for us. The Super Bowl is on its way. Let's hope that, the Eagles slam Patrick Mahomes on his back like the jabroni he is. Hopefully he gets powerbombed and knocked out of the game unceremoniously. But there are a lot of things going on in the National Football League. There are a lot of things going on with our Raiders, man. And we're going to get into it, guys. Salute to all of you guys out there. Salute to everybody over there on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, man. Appreciate you guys for pulling up. Now, look, let's get into it. The Raiders brought in Chip Kelly yesterday, man. And I'm looking at the numbers for the Chip Kelly deal, man, and he's getting paid damn near like a head coach. The Raiders reportedly are paying Chip Kelly $6 million per year to be offensive coordinator, man. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. This is a report from Albert Breer of Sports Illustrated. The Raiders were able to lure Chip Kelly away from Ohio State, man, with this contract, man. Paying him a staggering $6 million, man. And I'm going to be honest with you. This is higher than a lot of head coaches make, man. That is a staggering number. So it stands to reason why Chip Kelly left a pretty good situation in Ohio State. Now, to be honest with you, last year Chip Kelly was trying to get back into the National Football League. He had some interest from the Jaguars and the Texans. It didn't quite work out. And look, man, that cash infusion that the Raiders got from some of the new owners that they picked up kind of has helped the cause for the Raiders being able to go out there and get a who's who of a coaching staff, man. I'm going to be real with you, man. The Raiders being willing to pay this much for Chip Kelly's services is a good sign for us because the Raiders did not sign Chip Kelly to have Flotsam and Jetsam at quarterback. The Raiders didn't sign Chip Kelly and bringing him in to run this offense for us to have a hodgepodge of players. They're going to go out there and they're going to put some money into the offensive side of the football. Believe you me, man. Now, a little bit about Chip Kelly, because we talked about it yesterday as it broke. Graf and Wasted were live. Wasted and Graf were live, and we went over it, but we didn't go over that nauseum. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to break this thing down to a fine pace, man. Kelly was hired by the Eagles in 2013 after he had that run at Oregon. You guys know that. He was a head coach following an outstanding 4-year run in Oregon, right? And he lasted 3 years in Philly. He was much maligned. There was a lot of there was a lot of bad feelings from some of the players, and there were a lot of people that kind of put Chip Kelly in that Josh McDaniels mode. Always a coordinator, never a head coach. You know what I mean? And then he had another bite at the apple when the 49ers hired him as his head coach. But he spent one season there and he was fired. He returned to the college ranks at UCLA. He kind of revitalized that program, and now he's back with us. And I'm going to be honest with you, man. This is a great move for the Raiders because of the simple fact that we have a guy that has been in the college ranks for the last 4 years. So there's a man in the building who can kind of give you a really, really informed opinion about some of the players that are coming out in this draft. And this draft is one of the most important drafts in the history of this team, man. Believe you me. We got almost 400 in the room. Get wasted with your brother. Wasted, man. Shout out to my guy, Richard Durshock. Raiders Fool, Chris. My guy, Dan High Stakes Teaser. Ron Justice. JD. Isaiah Randolph. Anthony. That bum Anthony is in here. My guy, CGR, man. A new mod father, man. He has been made. He is a mod father. Shout out to my guy, Anthony, man. My guy, Rorschach Raider 24, DeMarcus Webb is in the place, man. DeMarcus Webb is in the place. Now, guys, I know you see the thumbnail. I know you've heard the news. The biggest news around the entire National Football League is the letter that Myles Garrett put up today. Myles Garrett has officially requested a trade from the Cleveland Browns. Now, amid speculation about his future in Cleveland, Myles Garrett has officially requested a trade. He said Monday in a statement obtained by NFL Network's Ian Rappaport that he'd like to move elsewhere prior to the 2025 season. As a kid, dreaming of the NFL, all I was focused on was the ultimate goal of winning the Super Bowl. And that goal fuels me today more than ever, Garrow. My love for the community of Northeast Ohio and the incredible fan base of the Cleveland Browns has made this one of the toughest decisions of my life. These past 8 years have shaped me into the man that I am today. While I have loved calling this city my home, my desire to win and compete on the biggest stages won't allow me to be complacent. The goal was never to go from Cleveland to Canton. It was always to compete and win a Super Bowl. With that in mind, I have requested a trade from the Cleveland Browns. Now, the Cleveland Browns have been, equal parts dumpster fire and active. Like, it's not like the Browns over these years have just sat on their laurels. They just haven't made the right decisions. Things haven't lined up in their favor. I thought it was a really, really ballsy move, no pun intended, for them to go up there and go get, Deshaun Watson, right? Because at that point, from what we knew what Deshaun Watson was looked upon as one of the 4 best quarterbacks in his league. So it's not like they haven't gone for it. It just hasn't worked out. And what Myles Garrett saying that he wants to be traded, everybody in Raider Nation and everybody in the media, have to kind of link whomever's out there available to the Raiders, man. They always do it. Without fail, they always do it. Now, not as soon as Myles Garrett announced this, there's stories all over the media, people talking about the Raiders possibly traded for Myles Garrett, right? So, in a story from SI, they say the Raiders have one of the best defensive lines in the entire NFL, when healthy, that is. A really good defensive line last year, and they were missing half of the defensive line with Christian Wilkins, one of the best defensive tackles in the league. While Malcolm Kuntz missed the entire season, there's some members of the media that are claiming that the Raiders should trade to bring Myles Garrett in to pair him with Maxx Crosby. Now, this is reported by Diana Rossini of The Athletic. He goes, I know some of you are thinking the Raiders were just as bad last year as the Browns were, and yet he wants out of a rebuild situation. So why would he be okay with the trade to the Raiders? With the no trade clause, he basically could say no to the trade that the Browns try to make if he doesn't like it. Well, what if I were to tell you that he may say no, not say no to the Raiders? Think about getting to play for Pete Carroll across from Maxx Crosby, next to Christian Wilkins, for an organization that is obviously headed in the right direction now after years of getting it wrong. And the Raiders are set to bring in a new QB, which can mean they will have a much better team than the one that the Browns are attempting to put together. Who knows how it will go? For all we know, he will probably end up in Dallas or with the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, let us pray that he doesn't end up with the Kansas City Chiefs, man. Let us pray that they don't put that monster next to Chris Jones. Jesus Christ, man. Please don't do it. But see, the thing about this whole Myles Garrett thing is the salary cap ramifications. You know, the dead money. The dead money, man. The dead money. I really don't know how the Browns make this happen and kind of take it on the chin for a second. You know, because there's a lot of dead money, man. A lot of dead money. A lot. And I feel bad for the Browns, man. I really, really do. I really, really, really do. I feel bad for the Browns. Now, there are three teams that people kind of, you know, put out there when you start talking about who would trade for Myles Garrett, who can afford it, right? The Raiders are definitely one of those teams, man. But I'm going to be honest with you. The Browns' dead cap hit will be $36 million, man. $36 million, man. It's a lot, man. It is a whole lot, man. I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, you know, what will he do? Will he just sit there, or will the Browns force his hand and make him play? I don't know, man. And another person that is going to face a lot of backlash behind this is Deshaun Watson, man. It's crazy, man. Nasty work. Nasty, nasty work. Now, look, I'm going to be honest with you. When I think about this, when I look into this, I say for the Raiders sitting there at number 6 in the draft, why not kick the tires on this? Why not? Why not? Like, I would much rather trade for Myles Garrett because the chances of whomever we draft at number 6 being as good or better than Myles Garrett are probably slim and none. Myles Garrett is the best defensive end in football. You know, and I love Maxx Crosby. I'm a Raider through and through, but I got to be honest with you. I can't sit up here and lie to y'all, Cap, and say that, you know, Max is better than that guy. That guy is one of one, you know, and even though he is 30 years old, I'm going to be honest with you, bro. I'd rather get the next few years of his greatness than, you know what I mean, than a draft pick that might not pan out. So if I'm the Raiders, I would look into it. Now, I don't know if Myles Garrett will be, you know, receptive to wanting to come to the Raiders, but I think the way that this organization is trending upwards, as was said in that article, he'd have no other option but to kind of consider this, right? Now, I don't know if the Kansas City Chiefs have the cap room to make that happen, right? I don't know where that leaves other teams. Is it the Minnesota Vikings, right? Is it because if I'm the Cleveland Browns, right, I'm trying to get Myles Garrett out of the AFC so I don't got to deal with the guy. I'm trying to get him. I'm trying to send him to Chicago or something like that. I'm trying to send him to Minnesota. I'm trying to send him to Green Bay. I'm trying to get him the F up out of here. That's the way I'm looking at it, right? I'm trying to send him to the NFC. I'm trying to send him to the Rams or something like that. I'm getting him out of here. That's me personally. But they're going to be really constricted by what they can do, and that's why I think the Raiders can sneak in there because they're one of the teams that can make this happen financially. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Let me get to some of these supers, man. Shout out to all of y'all. My guy Shalib gifted 5 Raider Nation Unlimited memberships to the masses. Salute to my guy Shalib, man. And if you guys want to become a member, man, I don't think I pinned it up to the chat, but I will pin it right up to the chat. You know, join the Wasted Talent Army, man. I'm telling you, we got cookies over here. We got cookies. Shout out to my guy Shalib, man. At ease, Shalib. And y'all thank that man for bringing you guys more memberships to the masses. Shout out to my guy CGR with 5 more Raider Nation Unlimited memberships, man. Salute to my guy, the 5-star general over here. My dog, CGR. My guy, Pessimistic Frank. Yo! I like our geriatric coaches. Myles, get the F out of here. Pessimistic Frank being pessimistic again. I love it. He's back. Shout out to Pessimistic Frank, man. Get the F up out of here. Raiders Fool Chris. My dog. What up, Wasted? What do you think about Greg Olsen? Oh, you've jumped the line. You've jumped the line. Come back as QB coach. Also, what are your thoughts on John Glenn as a new linebackers coach? We will get into that in a minute, Chris Fu. We will get into that in a minute. And my guy, UA Mel, in your opinion, Wasted, how similar is Chip Kelly's offense as opposed to Cliff Kingsbury's offense, since they're both spread offenses? Which is better? I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. You know, of course, you'd have to say Chip Kelly. Chip Kelly's had the better results out of the two. You know, Cliff Kingsbury has done well as an offensive coordinator. He's done well in the National Football League. But you know, let's be honest, man. Chip Kelly just won a national title. Chip Kelly was in a national title conversation back at Oregon. Everywhere Chip Kelly's gone, he's had a mark of success with his system, even with the Eagles. Even with the Eagles. Initially, he had some success with the Eagles, right? So I would definitely say Chip Kelly. I think that Chip Kelly is a guy that, you know, that has kind of revolutionized the game in a sense, more so than in a way than a guy like Cliff Kingsbury. Now Cliff Kingsbury doesn't just run the spread offense, man. You know what I mean? And that's the thing you got to look at, man. You know, when you start talking about Cliff Kingsbury, you know, Cliff Kingsbury comes from a coaching tree, man. Mike Leach and all of those guys, man, at Texas Tech. He played at Texas Tech. Man, he has, you know, a lot of different concepts in his offense, man. But the main offensive scheme that he's used throughout his career is the air raid offense, man. And, you know, when he had Kyler Murray until the league kind of caught up to it, he had that thing cooking out there in Arizona. But, you know, look, the air raid, I don't see Chip Kelly doing a lot of that air raid stuff. You know, I like the way Chip Kelly's offense is really, really balanced. You know, I think Chip Kelly, man, was a home run move. And now, you know, we can start to look forward to how they're going to fill out this offensive staff, man. My guy Jay Rowe in the place, man. Now we have a Hall of Fame head coach, wanted Ben Johnson because of his offensive prowess. But now we have an offensive coordinator who can go toe-to-toe with them and brought back Patrick Graham. I love this. I do too. And the thing that Pete Carroll does for me is he removes all my doubt as to how the team is going to respond. He removes all my doubts as to what kind of leader we have leading our team, right? That's what Pete Carroll brings to me, right? With Ben Johnson, there was going to be those question marks of whether he has a personality and a cachet to command a room full of NFL players, right? But now you don't have to worry about that. And you have just as much offensive genius and innovation in the building with the Chip Kelly, man. This is nothing but right to me, bro. Nothing but right. Shout out to everybody and appreciate you, bro, for supporting the channel. My guy, Jay Rowe, with the $10 smackaroonie, man. My guy, Graphic Rater. He goes, Zamir White for Garrett, straight up, and also get a third from them. Like, Graph, listen, I'm going to be honest with you, man. That is the dumbest trade I've ever heard. Bro, I would be honest, bro. I fucking wish, man. An old school Madden trade, right? An old school Madden trade. My guy, Ernest Wiley. Salute Wasted. Raider Nation in the building. Asbury Park, New Jersey in the house. Shout out to the South Jersey fellas, the Central Jersey folk. Ernest Wiley in a place, man. My Jersey brother. We got over 600 in the room. Get wasted with your brother Wasted, man. My guy, Robs. What's your thoughts on kicking the tires on Malik Willis? I mean, to be honest with you, bro, that would be kind of like a last resort, right? There are much better options out there than Malik Willis. Now, Malik Willis and the floor offense looks great, right? But he's not a guy that I would want to roll out there and bring in as a starter, especially with what we got going on here, man. Especially with, you know, Malik Willis would be option 4B for me. There's a lot of other players that I would love to bring in. There's a lot of guys that I would like to see the Raiders take a swing on. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't need for the Raiders to make that pick at number 6. I totally can see the Raiders going out there and trying to trade for a veteran quarterback, right? That's a young vet, a guy like a Kyler Murray. Now, I don't really know what's going on in Arizona with Kyler Murray, whether he wants out. But see, those are the kind of moves that I see the Raiders trying to make with Chip Kelly being in the building, man. The reason you go young QB is because you have the money to load up on talent like Garrett and be a beast. And that's a fact, bro. That is a fact, man. Yo, shout out to my guy, David Walker in the place, Newark's very own, bro. My dog grab one of the gurus emails from Myles Garrett and Denzel Ward. Yo, how about a half-eaten sandwich and a grape CNC soda? I don't know, man. I don't know. My guy, Pessimistic Frank. How many W's and L's with this staff right now? I don't know, Pessimistic Frank. I'm not going to sit up here and pontificate on how many wins and losses when we haven't even filled the roster out. We don't know who the quarterback is. We don't know who the all-star offensive line is. We don't know enough yet, bro. We don't know enough. So for me to say how many wins we going to get, I would be talking out of my ass. Straight like that, bro. And I can't be doing that, bro. I can't be doing that, bro. A lot of people are saying a trade for Geno Smith. I don't know about all of that. My guy Jamal Macklin is in the place. Jamal Macklin with the lick yak. The Camden Bull in the place. Jamal Macklin. Jersey is in here strong, man. I appreciate all the love from all my Jersey peeps in here, man. Like real rap. Like, yo, everybody from the Garden State, make yourself known, bro. Please. I want to show everybody, yo, the Beast Coast is in here crazy, man. My God, the greatest name in YouTube history. Fuck you. I don't know if it's a real option, but I definitely offer Tyree Wilson or Kuntz in the second and third for Myles Garrett. Now, see, this is the thing about Kuntz, right? I got to look at if Kuntz is a restricted or unrestricted free agent at the end of this year. I'm thinking that he's unrestricted because he wasn't a first-round pick, and this is his fourth year. So you don't really have control of the bird rights of Malcolm Kuntz, right? Tyree Wilson, on the other hand, is something that I would consider, right? He is a guy that, you know, from a measurement standpoint is compared to Myles Garrett, but that's about it. You know, so why not? Why not, man? My guy Ruben Russ in a place to be, man. Would it take 1 or 2 first-round picks to get Garrett? I don't know if it really matters. Will we end up trading him to Seattle for like 6 months? Get that F up out of here with your George Halani filth. What the F is going on here, Ruben Russ? I thought this George Halani crap died last draft. Come on, Ruben. Don't come here with your nonsense and your filth. George Halani. The F up out of here, man. Yo, my guy, Late Show Rated. The only trade we need to make is for Sanders. I'd rather sign Mack in free agency. He's still got a lot left in the tank. Him and Max would be a nightmare. And that's also an option, right? But to be honest with you, there'd be no bigger nightmare than Maxx Crosby and Myles Garrett. I'm just going to be honest with you. And the thing about trading up for Shedeur Sanders, right? If that's something that we have to do, because we got to see how this draft cycle goes, man, because I have a sinking suspicion based off of what happened in the Senior Bowl that you are going to have dumb organizations reach for Jackson Dart. And I think Jackson Dart being in the conversation makes the Shedeur stuff a little shaky, right? You have Eli Manning coming out and supporting Jackson Dart. Now, I don't know, you know, Eli Manning played for the Giants a long time ago now. I don't know if he has any sway in the building, right? But if I'm being honest, that's a move I can see the Giants making. It's a move I can see them making, right? This the same organization who went out there and brought Daniel Jones in off of a bunch of hopium and off of a really good Senior Bowl. Now, I know it's some new leadership there, but it's still the same ownership there. And a lot of the times when you make a first-round pick, you are kind of leaning on your guys, but if you have an owner who meddles, and the thing about the Maras is people don't realize John Mara meddles. From time to time, John Mara meddles. Telling you right now, don't be surprised if Jackson Dart makes a meteoric rise to the top of this draft. That's undeserved. But when you have a draft where the roles of the quarterbacks are not clearly defined, madness can ensue at the top of the draft. This draft is one of the hardest drafts that I've ever had to evaluate as far as who's going to go in the top 5 picks. It is such a fluid situation. It really is, man. It really is. Shout out to my guy, Junior Land, another Jersey brethren. Yo, my guy, Derek Fisher's in a place. Yo, CGR, man. CGR is definitely not from Jersey, but shout out to him, yo. Aladdin Saddam, he said, Kansas City, Missouri. Yo, love, man, love. The Garden State is in a place, man. My guy, Robert Cisneros is in the place. Salutations. We making moves and getting excited. That's right. Dubzilla says it. He's been a member for 15 months, and he's been ugly as hell for all 15 of them. The F up out of here, Robert Cisneros. Say, that's my dog, man. Shout out to Cisneros, man. Shout out to my guy, man. My guy, M. Go Shop, Winslow, New Jersey. I've never even heard of that town, bro. That is a podunk town if I've ever heard one, bro. Winslow, New Jersey, man. My guy, Daniel Caps Keenan. Garrett for a signed Stuart Schwigert rookie card. Bro, I don't know if you can get anything for that. It's like, nah. Shout out to my guy, Stu, man. Y'all crazy up in here. It is sick and silly in here today. Shout out to my guy, Martin, man. Yeah, that's right. I'm just saying. Eli Manning was putting it out there, man. Eli Manning was putting it out there, man. Now, guys, look, man. There's a lot going on today, man. Greg Olsen was hired by the Raiders again as our QB coach. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, man. Greg Olsen is like the gift that keeps on giving, man. The guy is Raider herpes. I mean, Greg Olsen, every 2 to 3 years, you have a Greg Olsen flare-up. He just comes out of nowhere, man. Just when you thought you were safe from Ole, he comes right back to the Raiders, man. The Las Vegas Raiders are bringing Greg Olsen to join Pete Carroll's staff in Las Vegas, and Carroll is bringing another veteran guy, man. You know, from their days in Seattle, and I'm going to be honest with you. I don't have a problem with this. I like Greg Olsen. I think he deserves this. All the things that guy's going through, I love to see him being brought back. He's a good quarterback coach, man. He's one of those guys that he doesn't need to be an offensive coordinator, right? Because you know that you're going to get, you know, like I think, and I don't want to disrespect Greg Olsen, but I think that he's a better quarterback coach than an offensive coordinator. I'm going to be honest with you, man. You know, his first go-round with the Raiders organization was back in 2013. He served as offensive coordinator with the team until 2014. And then Olsen came back to us in 2018 when John Gruden was hired by Mark Davis. And then once again, he served as the offensive coordinator under Gruden, right? So this is his third go-round. And Olsen finds himself with the Raiders looking to add his presence to this room. So now you have veteran. It is nothing but right. I'm loving it, man. I'm loving it. And also, you know, Pete Carroll went into his family tree and hired his son. Now, Pete Carroll is set to bring on his son as the offensive line coach, man. As per the Athletics' Bruce Feldman, the Raiders are hiring Pete Carroll's son, Brennan, to take over his duties as offensive line coach. Now, Brennan was the offensive coordinator and offensive line coach at the University of Washington this past season. And, you know, he's worked for his father before serving as the assistant offensive line coach from 2015 to 2019. I'm going to be honest with you, man. I knew this was going to happen. I knew Pete was going to have to bring his sons in. Offensive line coach is one of the most important positions on the team. A lot of people, when you start looking at the success of a team or the lack of success, look no further than who is getting that offensive line prepared. Now, you know, Brennan Carroll is following like the Belichick kind of model with Steve Belichick. You know what I mean? And he's coming in and getting that tutelage under his father. And I don't really know how to feel about this, right? You know, Carroll spent 4 seasons, you know, at Arizona, Seattle. You know, he's reuniting with his father. I can't say that I'm excited about this because, to be honest with you, I'm not really familiar with how well, you know, Brennan was as an offensive coordinator at the University of Washington. I was not paying attention to him this year. For me to sit up here and lie and tell you I was, that is not something that I'm interested in doing, man. You know, but the thing about it is that I trust Pete's judgment, right? And I trust that Pete has kind of a if you have a synergy with anybody, it will be with one of your children, right? So I think his son knows what his father expects. This is a guy who grew up around the game. The league is full of nepotism. I kind of love when you have a situation like this because, you know, Pete has won at a high level. Now, the one thing Pete did not have in Seattle was a great offensive line, and it worries me a bit. So I hope that his son is a guy who got this job because of how skilled he is. Because I'm going to be honest with you, I don't really know a lot about, you know, what his son has done. not up under his father's thumb. Shout out to the flying wonderful Yvette Niles, being a member for 10 months. Wasted I'm late. My brother reached out. We got an OC. Did you guys talk about it yesterday? Yes, yes, yes. Yes, yes, yes. Chip Kelly is our offensive coordinator. We have a superstar at offensive coordinator, man. Shout out to the flying wonderful Yvette Niles. Thank you for pulling up. Thank you for pulling up. My guy CGR gifted 5 more Raider Nation Unlimited memberships. Shout out to my dog, At Ease, man. At Ease. At Ease. Yeah, I don't know what the F is going on here. Is that true? Is that true? Wait, Raider Reeby says, wow, Graphic wasn't a member. Hey, Graph, hold up. Hold the F up. No. Hold on, bro. Hold the F on. I'm actually going to call you on the phone. I'm putting you on blast, man. I'm putting cases on all you bitches. That's it. I'm sorry I'm derailing the show. This is nasty work here. This is nasty work. Ladies and gentlemen, I have Graphic Raider on the phone right now. Graphic Raider, what say you? Bro, hold up. They said that you just became a member of the channel. You were not a member of my channel? How the F is that even possible? Bro, I don't think you remember, bro. Like a long time ago, I left all you guys, bro. I just said I don't do this shit no more, bro. Okay. All right. Okay. Graph, you were about to be unceremoniously blocked. I don't want to hear your crap. Yes. Yes. I cannot believe it. Yo, I cannot believe it. Blocked. Blocked. Yeah. But you see. Hey, look at your phone right now, Graph. Look at your phone. Blocked. 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 Yeah. Oh man. Oh man, I love it, man. Oh man. Oh man. Nah, man. No. I know what happened, bro. Nah, he had to get rid of his bank card, man. I know what happened. I ain't mad at him, bro. I don't give a shit, bro. Shout out to my dog Graf, man. Yo, Steve Harbaugh says, you know what they say about excuses? I'm dead. Shout out to my guy Graf. Been blocked, effing Graphic Raider. Unbelievable. But guys, look, let's get back into it. You know, enough of the clowning around, man. I just look. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I don't really know what to make of the hiring of Pete Carroll's son. You know, like offensive line coach is not some watershed position, man. Offensive line coach is one of the most like to me, it's head coach, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, and who is your offensive line coach? And I really don't know whether, you know, Pete Carroll's son is the guy for the job. I don't know if he's the man for the moment. Now, there's not a whole lot of big names out there. There's not a whole lot of guys that I can say would be a better option than him. It's not like you have a Karma Basillo floating around. It's not that kind of party, man. So if you're going to bring anybody in, bringing in Brennan Carroll will probably be best because it's the synergy and the familiarity. And who more familiar than your own son, right? Now, there is a lot of turnover, man. There's a lot of turnover with this team. And the one thing that I am hoping for, and I know that Pete Carroll is banking on, that this Raiders rush offense improves. We're the worst in the league, man. We had a lot of injuries. The whole Zamir White thing did not work out. I don't know if Zamir White is in the plans going forward. I don't know if it was a scheme thing. Maybe Pete Carroll and these guys can bring something out of Zamir White, but I'm not really banking on it and counting on it. Sincere McCormick is somebody that I think the Raiders should definitely keep in the building. This is a guy that's a cheap option. He's a guy that has performed when the lights was on. Sincere McCormick has done wonders, right? Dylan Laube is a guy that's going to definitely have to earn his roster spot coming up this year. But I'm definitely looking for the Raiders to swing big in free agency and in the draft to bring somebody in to run this ball, because that is what Pete Carroll has made. His bread has been buttered with running the football. You know what I mean? And the thing with bringing in Carroll's son that, not concerns me, but I have a little reservation that we have a young offensive line. You have a DJ Glaze. You have a Dylan Parham, a Jackson Power Johnson. You got some young guys, man. You got Thayer Munford. Andre James is not the youngest guy in the world, and Cole Miller isn't. So they've kind of been through the cavalcade of stars when it comes to, bringing in offensive line coaches. But the development of these young pups and the guys that we're going to bring in is something that I hope that Carroll is able to handle. I hope that he flourishes and shines in his role, but I can't sit up here and give you guys any kind of insight into what kind of coach he's going to be. The only thing that I can do is just bring up what he did at Washington. You know what I'm saying? And even that is kind of reaching a little bit, right? It's kind of reaching, man. So we're not even going to do it. We're not even going to do it. We're not even going to do it. Richard Schneider, Carroll's son is eventually going to be the coach. I don't think so, bro. I don't think so. I don't think so, bro. I don't see that. I see guys like Rob Leonard, guys that, are coaching both sides of the ball. I have a little bit more experience on the NFL level being an heir apparent to this job. You don't just get gifted a job like being a head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders just because you're somebody's son. Because at the end of the day, the owner's got to be the guy that hires you for that. It's not like Pete Carroll says, hey, hire my son. That's not how it goes, bro. There are people with way more extensive resumes than Pete Carroll's son. But what this can do is this can kind of put him in the light to possibly get a more higher profile job and maybe work his way up to that on his own. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. My God, Big Lil Boxco. What do you think can be risked drafting a QB in the later rounds and wait for 2026 QB class, rumored to be better than 2024 draft? I think what you're risking is you're risking everything. You can't run an organization based off of what's going to happen next year. You can't do it. You have to focus on what's happening this year. You have to focus on making a team better this year. Because look, man, there are some quarterback drafts that, people said was going to be a headlining draft, and they had all of these names in it, and some of those guys aren't in the league anymore, right? So you got to go and get the right guy. Every single year, you got to take a swing at getting the right guy. Hopefully, the Raiders won't even be in the running to have to take a quarterback at the top of the draft. Hopefully, they address it this year, right? But with a coach, that's long in the tooth like Pete Carroll, with an organization like the Raiders that, to be honest with you, since we've come to Vegas, we have not given this town much to cheer about. The Raiders are on the clock with the fan base, bro. People are losing interest in the Raiders in Las Vegas. You've watched the WNBA team win 2 rings in Las Vegas. You've watched the hockey team go to the NHL finals, the Stanley Cup finals, immediately. Las Vegas is a transient town. It is a town where sometimes the NFL game is the 10th biggest thing going on in the city at a time. You can't establish a sports culture with losing. You cannot do it. You cannot do it. Like, look at towns like New York and Boston and all these big sports towns. And guess what is on the forefront and the foundation of those towns being sports markets is winning. The Yankees, 27-time world champions. The Mets got them, a chip or two. Then they got like 2. Right? The Knicks got a few championships, which, we've blown the dust off of those. The Rangers are champions. The Islanders had a dynasty in the 70s. The Devils had a dynasty in the late 90s, early 2000s. Look, Boston, the Red Sox, legendary team, the Celtics. I mean, who wins more than the Celtics? Who wins more than the Lakers? Who wins more than the Dodgers? Like, and the Dodgers was established in New York as well. The Giants and the Dodgers. Like, I don't need to go all the way back. You have to win to make a town a sports town. And the National Football League is betting on this. The National Football League does not have many more markets to go into. Besides leaving the continental US and going overseas, Las Vegas is it. Las Vegas is it, bruh. They have to win, bruh. They have to win. Shout out to Fortnite Kid. He goes, wait, hold on. We got a Vegas resident here. He goes, you're right about that way. He said, I'm from Vegas and I see it everywhere I go. Shout out Fortnite Kid. I don't even know if that's even, legitimate or not, but shout out to you. Yo, it's been a long ass solid generation that the Raiders been decent, bro. And guess what? You got to make sure that this year you strike while the iron is hot. While you have all that excitement in the building, while you have the cachet of Pete Carroll gets credibility with Raider Nation and the players in that building winning this year. We can't, this is not having some young coach that's trying to develop and establish a culture. This is not when Dennis Allen was here. We have a guy that is 73 hardcore years old, bro. It's time to try to get to it. And any means necessary to get a quarterback is how I'm on it. Any means necessary. Any means. Getting back to the Myles Garrett talk, my man said, I'd rather take Garrett than get some unestablished player. At least I know what we're getting with Garrett. And see, I think having a Pete Carroll in the building kind of makes you kind of speed up your timeline a little bit. Like, most of the time, we as Raider fans want the Raiders to develop. We don't want us to go out there and start signing a bunch of people, right? But the thing with the Raiders is John Gruden was developing and trying to build something, and that got short-circuited. Josh McDaniels was trying to build something, and it kind of got short-circuited. You got a lot of young players that the Raiders had, like Trayvon Merrick, that need to be re-signed, right? But there's a lot of young, talented players in the contract here. I think that needs to be filled in with talent. I think this is the year that the Raiders go out there and sign 4 to 5 big-time free agents. This is that year. This is the year that you go out there, you bring in a free agent quarterback. This is the year that, if, in your infinite wisdom, you feel like you located the kid, you go and you move up and you go get him. This is the year because you got the people in the building to develop that talent. You have the people in the building that are not, you don't have a situation where you can bring in a young quarterback and they can be ruined by a guy who doesn't know what the hell they're doing. That's not what you got here. That is not what you got here, man. And bro, everybody keeps saying getting a QB, getting a QB, getting a QB. It is not just about getting a QB. It's about adding those pieces. And Pete Carroll talked about this last week. This is about adding them pieces around said quarterback to make him successful. Now, when you talk about bringing in a guy like a Myles Garrett, when you talk about bringing in whomever, Khalil Mack, I think the way that you beat the Kansas City Chiefs is to build a defense that is so damn formidable that we can go in there in the playoffs and beat their ass. See, defense and running game travels. Now, a lot of times with the referees, it don't. The referees like to call stuff, but let me tell you something. Yo, quarterback sacks, hits, getting Patrick Mahomes uncomfortable, making him fumble, that's how you win football games. Roughing the Chiefs up. Roughing them up, man. I'm telling you right now. Now, a lot of people talk about Geno Smith, and that could be a great. Listen, Geno Smith could be a possibility, but I'm going to be honest with you. I don't see that. I don't see the Raiders doing all that they're doing with this coaching staff, going out there and coming back to us with Geno Smith. I don't see it. I don't see it. All of the things that we got going on, Spy Tech, Tom Brady, some of the risk that we're taking with Brady being involved with this product, man. I mean, even to the point where people across the league have voiced their concerns about the Raiders and their relationship with Brady, what Brady has going on. And it has not fallen upon deaf ears, man. A lot of the media have kind of gone after the Raiders. Mike Florio has done it in his tongue-in-cheek way. There's a lot of people do their little tongue, and they dry snitching on the Raiders, man. And it's gotten back to Roger Goodell. Roger Goodell kind of addressed it today, man. You know, and noticeably, I noticed that Brady stayed away from the spy tech and the Pete Carroll introductory press conference. And I think many signs are pointing to the fact that, you know, he's essentially running the Raiders. Even though he has a 5% stake, he's the football mind. And Mark Davis alluded to this a few weeks ago. He said ever since the NFL cut the head off of John Gruden, which is crazy, crazy vernacular, bro. He said the Raiders have been missing that football mind, man. And this is the thing. If he's running the Raiders, it kind of complicates him being an employee of Fox. He calls NFL games as a broadcaster. We all know there are all these parameters and rules set by Brady. And, you know, Roger Goodell has had to come out and really address it because people have been talking about it, man. And today, you know, Roger Goodell came out and said, you know, Tom, and I quote, Tom has been incredibly cooperative. He calls frequently about it. How am I doing? Make sure he separates those two, Goodell said, per Sports Illustrated's Albert Breer. And shout out to Albert Breer at SI. He said, had the Raiders had been able to land Ben Johnson as a head coach, then this may have been a bigger talking point. But there's no argument to be made that Brady's Fox job helped them land Carroll. And for now, it sounds like the NFL has no plans to get involved with the potential Brady-Fox drama. Now, the one thing that the National Football League does not need is a controversy when it comes to Brady being in that booth and him being part owner of the Raiders. There's already enough, you know, eyes on the officiating. There's already enough eyes on the fact that gambling definitely looks like there is an issue. You know, it definitely looks that way. It definitely looks that way. You can say what you want, but let me tell you something. The product is definitely, how can I say, so to speak, the product is being looked at with a jaundiced eye, man. And what I don't want you guys to look at with a jaundiced eye is Bet US. Bet US, man. Get 150% bonus on your first deposit. Get 125% bonus on your next two deposits up to $2,000 using the code YouTube150. This stream has been powered by Bet US. None better and none greater than Bet US. And tell them Wasted Talent sent you, man. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Yo, my guy, man, Richard Dushak, gifting 10 Raider Nation Unlimited feature Wasted Talent memberships, man, for the masses. The Wasted Talent army has grown in droves. Yo, will Richard Seymour play a role with an MG trade? He might. I don't, there's no real connection there, right? Now, Richard Seymour is a great, you know, Hall of Fame player. I don't know how much that's going to sway Myles Garrett. I don't think Myles Garrett is like looking to be around a bunch of Hall of Fame guys who played the same position he played. I think Myles Garrett is trying to win. Now, could Richard Seymour add something to the equation as far as, do you trust that they can win? I think the one thing that Richard Seymour, Pete Carroll, Tom Brady, and SpyTech bring to the building is validity, bro. It is social proof and social credit in a way that other bad football teams out there don't have, right? Because you're bad at this point. That, you know, there's nobody in the building that's going to give people that kind of hope. I think for the Raiders to get the benefit of the doubt to not have turned this around is because of these guys. I think the Raiders just this season and this season only, I think after this, they're going to have to go out there and do it, right? But this offseason is an offseason that they got to capitalize on the cachet that's being brought in from the reputations of the people that we've brought in here, man. Definitely. My guy McLuffy, you know the league will try to mess us over because they hate the Raiders. But the league needs us to succeed in Vegas. As we talk about before in the podcast, yeah, bro, the league needs that, bro. I just said that. I don't think you're going to get the same level of Raider kind of sabotage from the league as you've gotten previously. I think that's one of the reasons why they are allowing the golden boy Tom Brady in the organization. I'm going to be honest with you, man. Wait, my guy Neanderthal Punk, what do you think about Carroll's kid as O-line coach? In my view, by far the most important position as a coach. And, you know, I talked about it, bro. I don't know what to think about it because I'm not sure how good of a coach he is. There's nothing on his resume that makes me do backflips, right? But the good thing is, under the stewardship of Pete Carroll, under the stewardship of a guy like Chip Kelly, I think that if there's some coaching talent and ability there, it will be developed under these two guys. It will be developed. It will be developed. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Shout out to everybody in the effing chat, man. We got a show and a half up here. We are cooking right here. We are cooking right here. I mean, if you guys don't know, man, if you don't know, this stream is powered by BetUS, man. You know, and I'm gonna be honest with you guys, the Greg Olsen hire, you know, the Chip Kelly hire, all of the things that are going on with the Raiders are things that just, this is just on paper, man. This is one of the best off seasons I can remember. And I don't want to sell too much hopium to the fan base, man, because I need these guys to go out there and show and prove, man. But you know, I'm gonna be honest with you, Pete Carroll is bringing a level of stability to the Raiders, man, and it's making me super excited, man. Super excited. Now, guys, let me ask you guys something, man. Let me ask you guys something. Have you guys watched the Senior Bowl? What did you guys think about the Senior Bowl, man? Who were some of the guys that jumped off the page for you guys in the Senior Bowl? Who were some of the guys that jumped off the page for you guys at the Senior Bowl? You know, I didn't get a chance to run my Senior Bowl show. I got sleepy. It was late. You know, I was kind of going over some of this with the Graphic Wasted show, but what wound up happening yesterday was, you know, it got derailed by the Chip Kelly news, right? But, you know, you got guys like Gray Zabel. My guy Jason Gutierrez, he goes, Wasted, I'm disappointed your hoodie strings are not tied. I know, right? That's like my trademark. My daughters even do that because of me. Yo, Gray Zabel, man. Gray Zabel. Oh my God, man. But you know the thing about Gray Zabel, I don't know, you know, if we're gonna have a chance at Gray Zabel. I think Zabel is a guy that if we were picking in the 20s, he's a guy you would consider. Can't take him at 6. Now, if the Raiders trade back, maybe, right? He's a guy that could be the cherry on top of this offensive line, I'll tell you that. But Gray Zabel was balling, man. Walter Nolan from Ole Miss, balling. Shamar Stewart, Mike Green from Marshall. Oh my God. Yeah, that guy is a monster. He's a problem. He is a problem. And it's like, you know, there are a lot of people that think that the Raiders are set on the defensive line because of last year. But what people don't realize is we got a lot of free agents on that line, bro. The only definites to come back are Tyree Wilson, Christian Wilkins, and Maxx Crosby. All these guys that we're naming, Adam Butler's and stuff, I think they will probably want to stay. But look, Adam Butler played himself into a situation where he is definitely going to be a guy that has some suitors out there for his services and not just the Raiders. He can no longer fly under the radar with the amount of production that he's had. But my guy, Fox, Gray Zabel, Nick Nash, Howard the Dart, free agent, draft holes, let's effing go Raiders. Mike Green at 6, though. Listen, I'm going to be honest with you. That guy, look, man, that guy is explosive, bro. Explosive. Like Mike Green from Marshall is explosive, man. He's a guy, man, that I have him a cut under Abdul Carter. I do. Mike Green, bro, if I would not be upset if the Raiders took him at defensive end. I really, 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 I'd be okay, man. I'd be okay. That kid is explosive, man. He's 6'4", 248 pounds. You know, he's a guy that can stand up. He can play with his hand on the ground. You know, look, man, he is a monster, man. He has that twitch. You know what I mean? He's explosive. His get off is his first step is incredible. You can see the pass rush skills there, man. He has natural bend. You know, he can get through the contact. He has all of the things that Tyree Wilson does, man. You know, he has advanced pass rush techniques, man. Advanced, man. He has swipes, spin moves, counters. I mean, he understands. Like, he's just a guy that was born to rush the passer, man. Great motor too, man. Fluid mover in space, man. I mean, there's a lot of things that I saw from this guy that makes me feel like if the Raiders did take him at 6, I'd have no problem with it. I'd have no problem with it, man. I'd have no problem with it, man. You know, the only thing about Mike is the fact that he doesn't have the ideal size, man. He is on the kind of on the small side for an edge rusher. You know, he's kind of like an edge rusher in a middle linebacker's body. Even though he's 6'4", he's only 250, right? You know, and then the thing is too, you got to look at the fact that, you know, he's playing at Marshall. It's not like he played in the SEC. So, you know, you look at the tape, but when you look at the tape, you got to look at who he's going against. Now, I think he put some of that to bed, dominating some guys from the Power 5 conferences and the Senior Bowl, right? You know, he needs to refine a little parts of his game. You know what I mean? But to be honest with you, he needs to just refine his tackling, because, you know, as a pass rusher, it's great to get after the quarterback. It's great for you to be disruptive. But if you're not able to set the edge and make tackles and take the proper angles and wrap up, then what winds up happening is you become Yannick Ngakoue, and we don't need that. We don't need that, man. But yo, the thing with him is he's a guy that is kind of built for certain schemes. So we got to see where he goes in the draft, right? I think drafting him at 6 for some teams could be a little high, right? But we got to see how he fits in the Patrick Graham scheme. You know, I think Mike Green is really, to be honest with you, he's pretty much Malcolm Kuntz with a little more hype coming out of college. So, you know, we got to look at it from that perspective, man. Shout out to the Get Off My Lawn gang, man. My guy, John DiBenedetto. My God, the Get Off My Lawn gang is up in the place, man. Wow. Yannick catches a stray. Nah, no. I just dropped a gem on you, DeMarcus. Ain't catching those. I'm just saying, look, DeMarcus. Just pull up Yannick Ngakoue's stat line, bro. As a player, he's never been the greatest tackler, bro. He's just not a great. He's a guy who can definitely get after the quarterback, bro. That's something that you definitely can't erase. You know what I'm saying? But he's a guy who has not set the edge in the run game, bro. He's been a liability in run. I mean, what do you want me to say, bro? I got to give you information, not affirmation, bro. Information, not affirmation. Information, not affirmation. Hey, D Cooks, do me a favor, bro. I don't want to respond to this, but I got to say this, bro. Please do me a favor, bro. For me, please don't mention other content creators in here, bro. Like, if it's not one of my guys that I rock with, and I've told y'all this before, look, I am a man of a certain age, man. I don't have no problem when I don't know none of these guys. I don't have no problem with nobody, for real, bro. I just want to do my podcast with my brothers and bring y'all the best content possible. I don't have no problems, no hate for nobody. But over here, we stay to ourselves. We don't bother nobody. You know what I'm saying? I don't bother nobody. I don't have no problems with nobody, bro. I don't really care what nobody else is doing. If it's not somebody that I normally work with, like Sanjeet or somebody like that, bro, please don't say nothing negative about nobody in here, bro. For real, bro. I don't have no problem with nobody. Shout out to everybody that's doing their thing, bro. But please, bro, please don't do that, bro. Because what I'm gonna start doing, bro, like I gotta start, you know, there's a lot of nonsense that goes on with this YouTube stuff, because, you know, you got guys that are in the comfort of their own home and they like to be disrespectful or whatever, man. They form little opinions and they don't even know you and they don't understand that, bro. At the end of the day, man, I'm going to be the same guy I am in real life on air, right? In real life, look, bro, if I don't know you, then I don't fuck with you. Excuse my language, right? If I don't know you, you know what I'm saying? I don't bother with nobody. You don't bother with me. I don't look for no problems, but I don't run from none either, right? I don't want no issues with none of these jokers. We are on to doing the business of bringing you Raider content. That is what we are here for. Appreciate everybody out there, yo. Now, if I make a connection with you, and you're an up-and-coming cat or something like that, and we make that kind of connection, we work together, then great. But anybody else with that negative shit, man, leave that for other people, brother. You know what I'm saying? We ain't about that. It's shield more or nothing, yo. That's what it is, man. Shield more or nothing, bro. I appreciate you, D Cooks, man. You know what I'm saying? And Anthony is somebody that is definitely gonna get freaking blocked. It's right. Effing blocked. Yo, the draft needs to be moved back to March or April. Much time for the teams to contemplate who to pick, especially for teams picking at the top of the draft to listen to all the talk ahead. Well, bro, this the thing, bro. Like, I kind of feel like it's I think the timelines with free agency and the draft are kind of off, man. You know what I mean? I really do. I've always felt like that, bro. I've always felt like that. I've always felt like, yeah, you definitely, you know, you definitely got a point there, bro. I think the timelines are off, man. Raider Nation has been broken and fragmented enough for last years. We don't need to keep the stuff going. Bro, look. At the end of the day, Raider Nation's not broken, man. It's not broken at all, man. You know, it's just, bro, with it, we live in a world, bro. We live in this new era of social media, right? We live in an era where if you disagree with somebody, then that means you got a problem with them. Because most people's algorithms are tuned in a way where you just see people who agree with you all the time. But the thing about the Raiders is that, yo, there's a lot of different opinions, bro. We're a very opinionated and knowledgeable fan base. So you're going to have that group of people that you agree with, and then you're going to have that group of people you don't. But the thing is what do you do with that information, right? Like, what do you do with that? See, I can disagree with you and be all right with it. Because, I mess with my opinion, right? And a lot of you do too. And it's cool because I might agree with something one week and then you can enlighten me and I can learn. So it's not, I just think it's just, that's the thing. Like, nowadays, people don't know how to just disagree amicably. Yeah, man. But yo, the thing about the timeline, bro, is like, I really think that the draft should be first, man. For real. Now, and bro, yo, that's what I'm saying. My guy CGR. I appreciate hearing everyone's opinion. It helps me grow. I feel the same way, bro. Yo, my guy DeMarcus Webb wasted. Do you still think Zach Wilson could fit in Chip Kelly's offense? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. 100 times out of 100. See, the thing is this, man. I gotta look at the fact that the kid has the arm talent. He can move. The only thing with Zach Wilson that is a little bit of a red flag. Zach Wilson is on the small side, and he is sitting on the bench for the Denver Broncos. I don't know if they're going to be willing to get rid of the guy. And I'm not a huge Zach Wilson guy. What I am is I am a fan of the Raiders who remembers the way Al Davis did things. That is who I am, right? I am a man that thinks that, yo, go out there, bring in guys who failed as high draft picks that have a lot of physical talent, bring them in and try to develop them. That's always been my metric. Yo, my guy, CGR, hey, wasted, the GOAT and fellow My Father Top Beats gifted 10 memberships before the show. Did you see it, King? Appreciate it, King. No, I didn't see it. Appreciate my brother Top Beats gifting 10 Raider Nation Unlimited memberships, man. He is making the channel grow in droves. Appreciate you, my dog. My guy, UA Mel is in a place. What would it take to move up the 2 with Cleveland? See, it depends, man, because you got to look what Cleveland's timeline is looking like, right? Is this destroy and rebuild it? See, the problem with Cleveland, now that you have a situation where you're trading Myles Garrett, what are they trying to get back, right? Like, Cleveland could be trying to rebuild this team through the draft now, right? So if I'm the Browns, I would be open for business at number 2 because it ain't looking like without Myles Garrett there, you're going to get it together this year, right? Then you have these cap hits that you got to deal with. Then you got to deal with the fact that you got an oppressive contract with Deshaun Watson on the books. The only way you overcome all of these big mistakes that you've made is by drafting well. And the more higher draft picks that you have, the more bite at the apple you have for bringing in young stud players to kind of move up. So if I'm the Browns, do I think Travis Hunter is generational, right? At one of the positions. Because if I'm being honest, I don't see him being a full-time wide receiver and corner. I don't see this being a Shohei Ohtani thing in the National Football League because Shohei Ohtani doesn't get hit. So you got to say, all right, is Travis Hunter a generational wide receiver? I don't think he is, right? Is he a generational corner? Maybe. He's a little bit on the slim side, right? But he looks like he's the part, right? But that's a corner, right? So do you believe Shedeur Sanders can come into your organization and turn the whole organization around with a terrible situation in Cleveland? Do you hold on to Nick Chubb? See, these are the things you got to ask yourself, right? So if I'm them and I'm like, hey, man, Raiders, you want Shedeur? Give me your first and your second this year. Give me your second and your third next year. You can load up on talent. You can load up on talent, and then you already have another first-round pick that you could possibly get for Myles Garrett services. They really can rebuild a good portion of this team just this year by wheeling and dealing with Myles Garrett and letting somebody, like they really could control the draft, to be honest with you. They really could. So if I'm the Browns, I consider it. See, this is a team that I can see taking Jackson Dart if they move down. Because now the timeline resets. Sit him there, let him get some reps, start DTR, middle of the season, see what you got in Dart. Then you move on from Deshaun Watson when you can. And you start it all over again. My guy George D with the $2 smackaroonie. Cooper Kupp to the Raiders, just need a QB. Look, I am not a fan of bringing in high-priced free agent wide receiver talent. If Cooper Kupp is on the cheap, I bring him in. If not, I keep it moving because, to be honest with you, until I locate the quarterback, I'm not doing that. I'm spending my money in the trenches. I'm spending my money in the defensive secondary. This is where I'm spending my money in the backfield because I know what kind of coach Pete Carroll is. He wants to physically dominate the team across from him. My guy, LS the Damager. My guy, appreciate you, man, for the $5 smackaroonie. Can't wait to see us play ball control tactics next season. I want teams to know we're going to run and not be able to do a damn thing about it. And, bro, this is the thing. When you look at the Eagles, right, and you look at the metric for how the Eagles put this thing together, they have one of the most talented rosters from 1 to 53 all throughout the league. They don't have a superstar quarterback. And I'm not saying Jalen Hurts is a bum. Jalen Hurts is a very good quarterback. But is he on the level of a Burrow and a Mahomes and I don't think so, right? But what they do have is a better roster from top to bottom. And I think that is the metric that the Raiders should build here. Have the best freaking roster, bro. Have the best roster. Be honest with you. Hey, Waster, how do you feel about Carson Wentz? I used to be a big Carson Wentz guy years ago. I kind of tend to think that Carson Wentz has been relegated to being a backup now. You know what I mean? Carson Wentz, from what I understand, is not the biggest football guy. Now, him having that cup of coffee with Andy Reid has not been a bad thing, right? So when I make swings on guys who are high draft picks, right, that have kind of been journeyman guys, I want to see where they were the last stop. Were you in a place where you were in a quarterback room where you can be made a better player? The Chiefs have the best quarterback in football and the best coach in football. That's nothing but right for his career if he ever sees himself as a starter. But a lot of the things I've heard about Carson Wentz is he's a guy who is extremely religious. He's a hunter. He kind of is not the dog, I want to be a starter, I want to get a bite at the apple kind of guy because he got paid already. And I think, he's a bit washed. Just being honest. I don't want to disrespect the guy, but just being he is a little prematurely washed. My guy Marzel Simmons. If we don't have to pay that full contract, would you try Watson? No. I just can't believe that a QB we seen in Houston is gone. He's still young. Look, bro, the mental acuity of an athlete is something that's not talked about much. I've seen athletes like go back in the 90s on, right? Early 2000s. There was a pitcher by the name of Rick Ankiel. He was a stud pitcher for the Cardinals, not the Arizona Cardinals, but the St. Louis Cardinals, the real Cardinals, right? Ace pitcher. And something happened mentally where he could not, he was just why he lost all his control, could not throw the ball over the plate. He went and played in the outfield and stuff. I've seen people like Karl Malone, who's had to have a sports psychiatrist help him make free throws. And he talked to himself on the side, at the free throw line. He go like this. He had this little, like, bro, the mental is everything when it comes to great athletes. And when I see Deshaun Watson, I see a man who's lost his confidence. I see a man who's had some catastrophic injuries. And I see a man who's had some damn brutal situations off the field, right? And bringing him into Las Vegas is not the best thing for him. He is beyond damaged goods from a physical perspective. He is damaged goods from a mental perspective too. And that is a double whammy that the Raiders cannot afford, man. And no disrespect to Deshaun Watson. He was a guy that I was a huge fan of. But there's a lot to be said about Deshaun Watson. Like a lot of people say that when he first came into the league, Bill O'Brien and them, they used to run the same offense that he ran in college. He wasn't able to adapt in another system. This is what I'm hearing, right? So now I'm kind of good on Deshaun Watson, my brother. Oh, my guy, Marvin Lewis. What happened, bro? What happened? We talk about the unceremoniously blocking today? Huh, Marv? Shout out to my guy, Marvin, bro. Shout out to my dog, man. UA Mel. I could see Myles Garrett go. I could see Myles Garrett going to the Vikings too, bro. Look, if I'm the Browns and I know Myles Garrett has a no trade clause, but if I'm them, I'm like putting a list on the table and saying these are the teams we're willing to trade you to. Pick from them, because I ain't trade you to the Steelers and I ain't trade you to the Bengals. That ain't happening, bro. I don't give a shit. You can sit out the whole year and rot. I ain't doing it. They need to take control of the situation, right? He wants to go somewhere. He wants to win. So the Jets aren't on the table, right? Because he's already gotten paid. It's not about playing in a bigger market. Would you trade him to the Rams? The Rams are a team that, kind of on the cusp. Do you want to, are the Detroit Lions thinking about taking on a guy like Myles Garrett, right? Like we're, because to be honest with you, this league has so much parity, right? The only team that you can kind of book being one of those kind of squads, it's only three teams, man. Like the Ravens. Do you trade them to the Ravens? You can't trade them to the Ravens, right? Even if you wanted to. Do you trade them to the Buffalo Bills? Do they have the bullets and the ammunition to bring in a Myles Garrett? Right? Do you trade him to Kansas City? Do you want to trade him in your conference and have to overcome that? See, the thing about it is, there are like collateral damage to any decision you make if you're the Browns, right? Because if you get picks back from Myles Garrett, you better make sure damn well you hit on them, right? How high are these picks, right? So you trade them to the Chiefs, you're getting the latest possible first round pick you can get. That's almost like a second rounder, right? So I'm not considering the Chiefs because I don't want to make them more dynamic. I'm trying to catch the Chiefs. I'm not trying to help them, right? So to me, they're not on the table, right? Then you start looking at the Chargers. Do the Dischargers even have the money to deal with that? Is their pick high enough? I don't know, right? So I want to get him out of the AFC if I'm them. So there's not one team. All of the teams that he would put over, are teams that they got to play in their division. You don't want to see him twice a year. So you got to look at the NFC, right? So could you sell to Myles Garrett going to the Bears? The Bears are rebuilding, even though they've located a quarterback and they got Ben Johnson, right? Right. Can you talk about Myles Garrett going to Green Bay and get with with some of the guys over there in Green Bay? Rashawn Gary and all of them guys on that line. You know, do the Packers have what it takes? So when you start really workshopping this, right, from an AFC perspective, the Raiders, if Myles Garrett believes in what's going on in his program and Brady and what we're doing here, right, the Raiders don't really seem that far off. They don't seem that far off from a situation that would be advantageous to the Browns and Myles Garrett. I think playing next to Maxx Crosby and Christian Wilkins is something that, if you're a defensive player and you believe that defense wins championships and that you guys can be the reason you win a championship, if he's of that mindset, he can come here. He can play for us. And he can fit in, and he can develop something that is generational. Generational. Wasted. What's your favorite running back duo that the Raiders could draft? Man, Henderson from Ohio State, terrific blocker, fast, can catch, just a complete running back, right? Love the kid. Amari Hampton is really good, but listen, Ollie Gordon III is a guy would love if the Raiders can get him and Henderson. To me, that's a great backfield. Deontay Johnson, guys like that. Like, there's so many guys, but if you're asking me, it's probably Henderson, man. Henderson and Ollie Gordon. Shout out to my guy PJ Houston with the $5 smackaroonie. Given our hires, I'm stoked for the next couple of years. Can't wait to share the trip with you, Wasted. Best Raiders channel by Myles. Oh, man, thank you, bro. Appreciate you, man. Dropping a gem in here, man. Dropping a gem. Dropping a gem. How come I never hear from our fans about bringing in any O-lines and free agents, O-line men in free agency or the draft? I want to dominate the line of scrimmage. F all that. Why? Yeah, bro. And that's the thing. People don't understand, bro. When you look at the Eagles, right? The Eagles are the archetype that you want to look at for how you build the Raiders, because it's the thing. Like, we all see the shiny object. We all say, hey, man, we want the next Patrick Mahomes, right? We want the next guy. We want that next quarterback. The thing about it is that the odds of you drafting a guy that is as good as Patrick Mahomes, right? And I don't want to bloviate over Patrick Mahomes. F him. I mean, F that mother effer, right? But the thing is, you might go 20 years straight in the draft and never get a player that is the equal to that kid. This is an all-time guy. This is an all-time guy. So the more attainable metric is building the best roster, because that's something that you can definitely control. Like, locating a guy that plays at that level is very, very hard, man. Very hard. But what is not hard is getting the best linemen you can and getting them to play together as a group and having a dominant unit up front. That's a little easier than drafting, a generational talent at quarterback, having a generational defensive line. Okay, so the middle of the team is solidified. Adding those pieces in the secondary where you have a shutdown secondary, physical secondary, ball hawking secondary, get you the ball back, right? Right? You got Brock Bowers already. You got a guy that's probably the best tight end prospect in the last 30 years on your roster as we speak. You have Michael Mayer behind him. That room is solidified already. It's solidified. Yo, Harrison Bryant, it's solidified right now, right? So if you got an offensive line, a defensive line, a great secondary, good group of linebackers, you can make some noise. You get you some running backs. Now you can make some noise. You got Jacoby Myers already. You go out there, you get you another wide receiver or two that are serviceable guys that kind of serve that archetype, guys that are sure-handed, a big target in the red zone. You go and get you a guy that could take the top off of this defense. You have a great special teams unit already, bro. You have a great special team. You got A.J. Cole, man, one of the best punters in this league, right? Daniel Carlson got a little shaky this year. McMahon's got to get him back on track. I'm not a big Tom McMahon guy, right? But if Tom McMahon can get that situation fixed, you got the special team. Now you have a perfect situation for a quarterback. So it might not be Mahomes, but it might be a guy that's a step or two under him. That's a free agent that wants to come to the Raiders. Now you cooking with gas at that point. Now you cooking with gas. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to my guy Anthony Hernandez, gifting 10 Raider Nation Unlimited memberships to the masses. Oh my God. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you for keeping the channel growing strong, man. Everybody, shout out to Anthony, man, for adding members to the Get Off My Lawn gang. The Wasted Talent Army, man. The Wasted Talent Army. My guy, LS the Damager. If we signed Trey Smith and traded back in the draft for Kelvin Banks, we could move off of Colton Miller. That's a desirable line for a rookie QB and run game. Look, I'm not moving off of Colton Miller if I don't have to, though, right? Trey Smith, definitely at guard, right? JPJ, boom, center. Trey Smith, oh, man. DJ Glaze, boom. Kelvin Banks. Kelvin Banks is a guy, man, his arms aren't that long. He's a guy that I could see possibly being a dominant guard. I know he's going to get drafted as a tackle. I know that. But he's a guy, man, with his arms where I can see possibly, if it doesn't work out, I can see him moving in. Man. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Mark Mason is in the place, man. My guy, Jay Rader. Shout out to whoever gave me a membership to this channel. Wasted, been blocking me because I'm 5'10". Either Sanders, Will Graham, Dart, Miles. Get that F up out of here, Jay Ray. 007, I am not blocking anybody. I am not a person who hates on people who are short. I have a lot of short people in my life that I have a lot of love and respect for. I just don't want short people being my quarterback. I mean, golly. Golly, man, you guys are rough up in here. My God. LaQuint Allen, running back from Syracuse, South Jersey guy. My guy, Mark Mason in the place. Yo, bro. Listen, that's a guy in the late rounds, bro, that you could take. Look, I want the Raiders to bring in, at the very minimum, 2 running backs. The situation we had at running back this year was atrocious. I want us to have the kind of running back room where one guy goes down, you put another one in, and you can get close to the same production, man, for real. My guy, Zen Raider, based on how this offseason is shaping up, and if we locate our QB, do you think Adams regrets forcing his way out? If he had just held out a little longer, he could have been on a really good spot here. Bro, I don't care what Davante Adams thinks. I don't care what Davante Adams goes to play. Fuck Davante Adams. Excuse my French. I don't want to be unprofessional here. I know there's a lot of people watching, right? This is a family show, but I got to be honest, man. Fuck that guy. That guy forced his way. Now this will be his 3rd team. He's a phony. I don't want him in my building. He is a phony, a malcontent, and a douchebag. And I think that, he likes to play like he's not this malcontent wide receiver. He wants to play like he's not a diva, but he is the diva. Because what he does is, instead of him putting his name on it, I could respect a guy like T.O. more because at least he puts his name on it. I don't like all this passive-aggressive bullshit that Davante Adams did when he was the Raiders. And then now he goes on every week, and every week he talks about the Raiders like a broken-hearted bitch. Every week. Every week with K. Adams. Oh, you just don't know what I was dealing with over there. Man, get the F up out of here with his nonsense. Nobody, get him the F up out of here. I don't need him here. I don't need no diva wide receiver that I'm paying all this money to that ain't going to do a goddamn thing anyway. Just go out there and go get some lunch pail guys that are going to catch the football in the red zone. I'm tired of his nonsense. I don't want him in our building. F him. Fans are too nostalgic, bro. Like, yo, every time somebody puts on the silver and black, it's once a Raider, always a Raider. Yeah, but guess what? That doesn't mean that you always have to bring their asses back. He can stay the F up out of here. The only person I'm considering that played for the Raiders that was a star that I'm considering bringing back is Khalil Mack. And I don't know if Khalil Mack even wants to come back. But that Netflix stuff and all, just seeing a peek behind the curtain of the way he get down, fuck that guy. I'm sorry, man. Excuse my language. It is what it is. And guess what? Guess what? This stream has been powered by BetUS. Oh my God, have you guys forgotten? Going over to BetUS, get 150% deposit on 150% bonus on your first deposit. Get 125% bonus on your next 2 deposits up to $2,000 using YouTube code 150. This stream was powered by the great and powerful BetUS. We got over 900 of you guys in the room. Get wasted with your brother wasted, man. pigskin. I wanted to trade Davante Adams in the offseason, but it's obvious we did him dirty getting rid of Carr. Bro, no. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. This is the thing that this is the thing that nobody's saying out loud. I don't think that they would have just moved on from DC if he wouldn't have signed off on him. I think that they did the bait and switch, the double shift, the double turn on Davante Adams. I think Davante Adams thought they were going to move up and go take CJ Stroud. I think they promised him they were going to get him his quarterback in the draft. And he was okay with them moving off his car. That's what I think. I mean, he bitched about Carr when Carr was here. He wasn't producing. They weren't hooking up. It wasn't the same, bro. And Carr was throwing hospital balls too. He was yelling at like, bro, I don't want to hear that, man. Fuck that guy. Sorry. This is funny. This is why I say athletes should make as much money as possible. Fans and organizations don't give a shit about them, and they should always do what's good for them. Now, see, I think they should do what's good for them inside of the constructs of a team concept, right? So there's two parts of this, right? Davante Adams, bro, we don't owe him any grace. He forced his way out of here, and then when he left, all he did was talk bad about the organization, right? He came into the locker room and really, to be honest with you, had to be put in his place by Maxx Crosby too. Because everything's not about him, bro. It's a team. So if you want to win so bad, sometimes you have to sacrifice for that. Listen, bro, I've been in a long and successful marriage. I have a lot of great relationships in my life. For you to make a relationship work, there's a give and take in that. It doesn't always go the way you want it to go. It don't always go the way you want it to go. So I'm all for athletes who are uniquely talented because, listen, when people say the NFL is a blessing and all of that, it is. But really, the thing, it's not really a blessing because there's not a person in my chat that can play one snap in the NFL, including myself. Right? So they're uniquely talented, and I give them all the praise in the world because the owners are making money hand over fist, and I want to see those players get paid too, right? But within that, once you sign that contract, right, you got a job to do. You have a certain level of professionalism that should be there. And I'm tired of this new player empowerment shit where all of these guys feel like when something isn't going their way one season, right, or two seasons, they can just go and just run out of there and you know, they don't have to live up to nothing that they stood on. They come here and they say they want to make it better. We're going to win, right? Then when it don't go right, then you want to run out of it. Then you want to run out of there, right? Now, it all depends, man. It all depends on what kind of organization you got going. Now, I with the Raiders, man, there's not a whole lot of kind of, I'm not walking back what I'm saying about Davante Adams because it's not what you do, it's how you do it. I don't like the way he's going about all this stuff with the Raiders. Peter just kept his mouth shut and been honest and not said a fucking thing and said, yo, man, look, man, went behind the scenes. Look, I want to be traded. Get me out of here. Instead of going around talking about how he loves the Raiders and how he wanted to come here and he didn't come here and secretly behind the scenes, he's trying to get out. Secretly behind the scenes, he's bitching. Secretly, behind the scenes, until you see that Netflix, he's up there crying on the sideline every other play. Yo, bro, nobody need that shit, bro. Be a man about your shit. Excuse my language. The F up out of here with his crap. The F up out of here, Davante Adams. Don't ever come back. The F up out of here. Yes, but you can get remarried after 10 years. Athletes have a short lifespan. Bro, I get that. They got to do what's best for them within the constructs of doing your job. Once you sign and you get all of that money, right? You get $180 million, and you get this signing bonus. You get $50 million signing bonus, right? It's up to you to be professional. Whatever happened to being professional, bro? Whatever happened to being professional? And if you look at Davante Adams, and this is just for him, right? Because there's some athletes that are done wrong. This is a guy who forced his way out of Green Bay because he didn't think that Jordan Love can get it done. And guess what? Jordan Love got to the playoffs. You didn't. You could have stayed there, been an elder statesman. You could have got all of your touches, and you could have cooked. But no, you wanted out. You forced your way to the Raiders to go with your buddy. And then you get here with the Raiders and you find out that your buddy sucks. And you're mad at us for getting upset at you? You're the one who fucking forced your way here. You got everything you wanted. You got your Taco Bell commercials. You got the heroes welcome. You got the comeback. You got to play in front of your family and all of that. You got the tax-free money, the nice mansion, all of that. You wanted to be here. You. So don't tell me about him doing what's best. He's done what's best for him. And it's blown up in his mealy mouth face. F him. What about just doing, yo, look, this decision I made, let me try to make this work. How can I make this work? What can I do to help the guys on this roster? Mark, what do you do? And then, guess what? If you don't like what's going on, just say what you mean and mean what the F you say. Say what you mean and mean what you say. Don't blame the organization. Don't blame AP. You fought your ass here. You said you believed in Josh McDaniels and you wanted to be here. You did that. You wanted to play with your buddy DC. And then you get here, lo and behold, oh no, we suck again. Derek Carr sucks. You did that. The F up out of here with that crap. Now you want to go back to Green Bay with his green cleats. And I hope when he goes back to Green Bay, somebody throw a ball over the middle and they crack his effing sternum. F him. Got me all riled up in here, man. Let me calm myself down. Damn it. We've been cooking for an hour and a half, guys. I want you guys to know this stream's been powered by BetUS. Shout out to BetUS. I think it's time to pull the train into the train station, everybody. I really do. My guy S. Dot with the $5 bomb. We should get Tyler Booker. The Raiders desperately need another incognito Gabe Jackson, Denzel Good type of powerful guard with Jackson Powell Johnson. Yes, man. I love it. But, yo, S. Dot, what I want you to do is, man, do me a favor, man. Hit my inbox. Give me your top 5 guards coming out of this draft, bro. I'm going to take a look at them. We're going to talk about it on the show. Love every single one of y'all. It's time to wheel a train into the train station, man. Appreciate you guys. I'm going to go eat dinner. You know what I'm saying? I haven't eaten anything all day. I am feverishly working out like I used to. I'm feeling good. Feeling good, y'all. Shout out to everybody else. Shout out to my guy, CGR, DeMarcus Webb. Shout out to all y'all holding it down to my file. Shout out to my guy, even though he wasn't here, man. You're my guy, Top Beats, man. Shout out to my dogs, man, in the chat. 3 clicks, nada. Everybody in the place, man. Lord Buddy Bear is in the place, man. Forget Davante. Let's get Antonio Brown. Raider Nation 24, stay up. Love y'all, man. Y'all have a good effing night. We are out of here like yesterday, man. And I'm telling you one thing. I will never play that Fat Joe clip on my show again. F him. F him. Y'all have a great night, man. Peace.